Jump back.
We live our lives in blissful ignorance every day, taking the promise of tomorrow for granted. Unbeknownst to us, someone somewhere might have taken their last breath alone. They remained motionless for days until the stench of their decaying flesh seeped into the neighborhood, prompting the arrival of what's known as a trauma cleaner. Qasrina is an 18-year-old trauma cleaner who works with her father, Mr. Rahman. He started DDQ services back in 2012. After completing secondary school, Qasrina chose to commit her time to trauma cleaning above pursuing her studies.
I'm now currently learning the ropes my father first. Actually, I'm more interested in what's my father doing.
Trauma cleaners are called upon to do the job that nobody wants to do. They clean up the bodily remains of the dead. Those that could have been dead for days, weeks, or even months. Together, Qasrina and her father have teamed up as trauma cleaners since 2020. This job is not for the faint-hearted.
For the first case, I'm very doubtful. I don't know whether she can do it or not. So throughout our journey, I keep on asking her, you sure you want to do or not? You got the confidence to do or not? Then she said, yes. Okay lah, I play along. So when we reached the client house, right, I asked her one more time, you okay or not? Even the client looked at her one kind. I remember when she first encountered the scene, right, she froze for a few seconds. Then I tell her I say, you better start, doing start do the cleaning everything, and then she start. Then halfway through, I need to leave her alone. I had to buy something because it's last minute job. So I just leave her alone inside the house. Then she do herself all the cleaning.
Trauma cleaners need to remain composed in tough situations and endure excruciating heat while being surrounded by bodily fluids, soiled belongings, maggots, and the stench of death.
About 5,000 people from Singapore aged 60 and above, 19%, or about 1 in 5, said they were often lonely.
An increasing number of seniors here are getting divorced after decades of marriage.
Other than cases of suicides, murders, or home accidents, most of the cleaning they encounter have to do with lonely deaths. Lonely deaths are a global phenomenon which most commonly affects the elderly, who have various reasons to live alone.
There has been a spike in reportings of lonely deaths since 2015. In MOH released in 2020 that about 10% or 88,000 Singaporean residents aged 60 years and above live alone. And in 2010, the figure was about 8.2%, so we actually see an increase over the past decade.
One such individual who lives alone in a rental flat is Ahwa. He suffers from diabetes, high blood pressure, and kidney problems.
已经有10多年了，妈妈就走了，就哥哥他不可以走路哦，就坐在这里啊。后来我哥哥抽白粉给人家打死，我看到传了就等到我哥哥不在了。
Life expectancy for women in Singapore exceeds men. So because of that, they live alone due to the death of their spouses, or more women are single compared to men. So there's a gender interest in this angle of living alone as well.
Like Uncle Ahwa, Auntie Anoy also lives alone in a rental flat in the same estate. Auntie Anoy suffers from dementia and is hard of hearing.
我17岁就住在这里了。我一个人大概有5年这样了，老伴呢带我来的，这样是讲我一个人咯。咁樣會有時自己刺激一下咁樣咯，想下哎呀唔可以上去啦。
So sometimes we need to unpack this idea of what living alone means. And to older persons, it means living without family members. A study that we've basically conducted at our center shows that feelings of loneliness and not living alone physically is actually associated with higher risk of mortality.
我见到我很多朋友是一个人住的，没办法，跟家里人有时候不和啦。
政府幫梗係幫唔夠啦，係咪？
我没有什么梦想。 我只有天天要开心就是了，要去哪里就哪里。
When you only have yourself to rely on, that can spiral out of control. Dwelling on negative thoughts are the things that older persons living alone fear.
So perhaps now is the time to really start thinking about how we can foster, a stronger sense of connection between people, and we really need to start thinking about bringing the personhood back and stem what really causes loneliness that we're talking about.
Because you think about rental flat, when I measure the distance between this door and this door, it's just enough for my body. It's a very close proximity area, then distance between your house to your neighbor is also very close. How then do these deaths go undetected? When people live in close proximity, shouldn't you know about the incomings and ongoings of someone's life?
我的心不移，我的爱不变，月亮代表我的心。
Cleaning up after an incident of undiscovered death can cause emotional discomfort in the cleaners. They have to grapple with many things on their minds.
Can you imagine like when the deceased fall, right? They can be alive if there is someone there. What if when they fall or what, they was trying to call for help but cannot, what? Like it's very sad lah. I can see the differences between like when there are family members living together and there's no family members. When you enter like the lonely one, you will see like the clothes are all unfolded, not very proper lah, and it's very dirty. There'll be a lot of cockroaches and a lot of rubbish on the floor. Yeah. So for trauma cleaning, it has taught me like to spend more time with your parents, have more bonding with them lah, especially your mom especially. And for me, it's like you will never know when that person will go away from your life. You can be talking to them right now, but who knows the next day suddenly like they are gone. You will regret lah. Yeah.
As lonely deaths become more of a prevalent issue, trauma cleaners are faced with an interesting dilemma, as this negative phenomenon does provide them with more work.
Because if you were to see on our IG, our Facebook, everything, right, we share about all the screening that we have done. We are creating awareness, okay? Because we want to tell them that, okay, we have singles living alone. Okay, but at the same time, when you say that, okay, if we were to stop doing trauma cleaning, if there's no more elderlies dying alone, but when it comes to trauma, there are accidents. The one at Sime, this person, he had an operation, then his internal anesthetic all come out. So if you were to ask me, which one would I rather choose, right? Okay, I would still want to create the awareness of elderlies, to prevent them from dying alone. It's not something pleasant, okay? But nevertheless, trauma cleaning will always be there. There will be other form of trauma cleaning that we need to do.
Trauma cleaners provide a service to people who have been forgotten by society. In carefully cleaning the scene of death and restoring a sense of dignity to the space, they ensure that the dead are not forgotten by the rest of us. When cleaners dispose of bodily remains, it's as though they are performing last rites, a sending off in the absence of loved ones. Dying alone is a scary and terrible thing. Most people live with that at the back of their minds, neighbors going about their day without a care for the people living next door, neglecting the previous generation for their own.
But older people are expected to just, you've already lived your life, so maybe now it's time for you to just wind down and relax, disengage. When we normalize disengagement of older persons, it actually forces older persons to withdraw more.
社會邊度有咁理你個你咁多？呢個社會冇咁樣嘅人㗎啦。
When we interview older persons, they do echo some sentiments like old already, wanna do what? Already just wait to die lah.
有什么好怕？最怕就是有生病啊，没有人照顾啊，这样就怕啦。人啊，总有一天会死的，不用怕的嘛，哦。
Death needn't go undiscovered for days if society just begins to pay attention to the people on the fringes. We just have to look closer and, with a little effort, help the aged.
Cause one day you'll be older too. You might need someone who can pull you through. And if you look very hard behind those lines upon their face, you may see where you are headed. And it's such